And I'm Foti Kallergis, guest hosting today. We're also going to talk to Dr. Luz Maria Garcini, director of the Center for Community and Public Health at Rice University's Kinder Institute for Urban Research. She's going to discuss food insecurity in the Houston area.
Plus, Gary Ginstling, CEO of the Houston Symphony, breaks down their upcoming 2026-27 season.
And as always, we want to hear from you. Give us a call or text us at 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. You can also watch us live on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org and clicking the purple box.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. As a fragile 2-week ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran continues, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he is now instructing his cabinet to open direct negotiations with Israel as soon as possible. The negotiations will focus on disarming Hezbollah and arranging peaceful relations between Israel and Lebanon. That's as Iran restricted the Strait of Hormuz after saying that Israel was bombing Lebanon, and that was in violation of the 2-week ceasefire, which both Netanyahu and President Trump dispute. As President Trump threatens to leave NATO over their refusal to engage in a war they said they had no say in, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says some allies were slow, but
in fairness, they were also a bit surprised. To maintain the element of surprise for the initial strikes, President Trump opted not to inform allies ahead of time, and I understand that.
Speaking at the Reagan Building in D.C. today, meanwhile, he and Trump met at the White House yesterday. NPR's Franco Ordonez has more.
President Trump has raged against the alliance for declining to take part in its attack on Iran or helping secure the Strait of Hormuz, arguing that they failed his test to see if they truly backed the U.S. After the meeting, Trump exclaimed on social media that, quote, NATO wasn't there when we needed them, and they won't be there if we need them again. But he did not say he was pulling the U.S. out of the alliance. Trump has long had a rocky relationship with NATO, but this war has really wrecked what foundation was left. And Trump's anger only intensified, calling NATO a paper tiger and attacking some leaders by name, such as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, saying he's no Winston Churchill. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
Some of the biggest names in the MAGA universe are clashing with President Trump over the war against Iran, and that's raising questions about deeper divides within the president's base. NPR's Elena Moore reports the most striking examples came from Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly.
It's complicated. I mean, in their latest episodes, Carlson, Kelly, we're hearing them largely turn their criticism now back to the war itself and U.S. relations with Israel episodes since the ceasefire was announced. But their comments from before the ceasefire was announced still do feel important when you just think about how big their audience is and how strong their comments were.
NPR's Elena Moore. Artificial intelligence company Anthropic has a new AI model, but it's limiting its release. NPR's Shannon Bond explains.
Anthropic says its new model, known as Claude Mythos Preview, is really good at identifying security flaws in software. It's so good, the company says, it would be dangerous to roll it out to the general public because bad actors could use it to exploit those flaws. Instead, Anthropic is giving access to a group of more than 40 companies, from Google and Apple to cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Anthropic says the model has already found thousands of vulnerabilities.
NPR Shannon Bond, this is NPR.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Jack Williams. Tonight, Houston ISD's Board of Managers will consider approving a reduction of force, which would allow school administrators to cut or reassign hundreds of teaching positions and central office jobs. News 88.7's Bianca Seward breaks down what it could mean for the district and its more than 20,000 employees.
The district last had a reduction of force just 2 years ago. It can be an aggressive step, often used to close budget gaps, and it's a fast way to reduce costs. A former superintendent from a neighboring district tells Houston Public Media roughly 80% of a school system's budget typically goes toward personnel. HISD has suffered steady enrollment declines for years. Fewer students means less money from the state, which has cost the district millions in funding. If passed, it would mark the second major workforce shakeup in less than a year. Last fall, HISD cut or reassigned 450 employees. I'm Bianca Seward, News 88.7.
The deadline is approaching for Harris County homeowners to apply for a homestead exemption. They'll have to do it by April 30th. Harris County Tax Assessor Collector Annette Ramirez says applying for a homestead exemption is one of the most immediate and effective ways homeowners can reduce costs.
We know families are feeling real financial pressure, but here's the reality. Many homeowners who qualify haven't applied. And with the April 30th deadline quickly approaching, we want to make sure people don't miss out on savings they're entitled to.
The Tax Assessor Collector's Office is also hosting free property tax workshops this month. Details are on the Harris County Tax Office website. Splendora High School was put on lockdown after an incident on campus earlier today. The school northeast of Houston went into lockdown at around 9:30. Parents were told to stay away from the school while investigators look into that incident. And 2 men are in the hospital today after getting shot during an attempted robbery inside a nightclub on Kirby Drive. Both men were transported to the hospital in critical condition. The shootings happened at the Confessions nightclub at Kirby and Richmond. Sunshine today, the high around 80. 74 at the University of Houston. I'm Jack Williams, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Fisher Investments. As a fiduciary, Fisher Investments is obligated to act in their client's interest. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. This is NPR.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now your hosts for Hello Houston, Ernie Manouse and Celeste Diaz-Sherman. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. Celeste has the day off today, so joining me in the anchor's seats is Foti Kallergis. Hello there, Foti.
Hi, Ernie. How are you?
It's good to have you.
I was going to say, no, I'm not Celeste.
No, you are
have
not.
No hair. I'm not as pretty as her.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can have a chance to see his smooth dome. I keep thinking, do I need to go there? I'm going to hold on to what I got as long as I can. But I
tried,
see.
For sure, I tried.
You got hair there. You've made a choice.
I've made a choice. Yeah,
You're looking a little Lex Luthor-y today.
Well, that's okay.
I'll
the
bald
take that.
head, the black.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I dressed up. I'm a little formal for you today.
Yeah, and I'm dressed like a filling station employee. Nothing against filling station employees. I just very much feel like I could fill up your tank. For people who are familiar with your name, know you from your time on TV in the news world, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been up to a lot. I left the news world in 2018, so this is the first time that I'm actually on this side of the microphone in about 7 years, Ernie, by the way. Favor to you, my friend. Favor to you. And I'll share a little bit more about our history with Ernie in just a little bit. But out of TV news, I was with ABC 13 for 5 years and then left to do public relations and corporate communications, so went into that field.
Do you miss being on mic?
Everyone always asks me that. They ask me, do you miss it? Do you want to go back? And I do miss it. It is a lot of fun. I miss the creative aspect of it all, especially TV journalism. It's just different now, though.
Yeah. When Lisa Ferranda left being the anchor, she sent me an email and she said to me, Ernie, there's a world outside of television. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a whole world out there. Well, we're thrilled to have you sitting in with us today.
Well, thanks.
And what is really kind of cool, we've been talking about this, Celeste and I have been talking about this coming weekend is what we call Greek Easter, Orthodox Easter. And we wanted to do a segment on it. And what people might not know, but they could probably figure it out from your name, you are also a fellow Greek.
I am Greek through and through. Mom and dad are Greek, both born in Greece. My family is in Greece. We go back every single summer. We vacationed in Greece as kids for 3 months. As soon as school let out, we got on the plane and went to Greece and stayed there until it was time to come back for school. So,
And for folks who think that's enough Greeks, I got bad news for you. There's going to be more Greeks joining us, and one you all know, Roula, who is a very well-known radio personality in this town. She is also Greek, also a friend of ours. She and her sister are going to be here to talk Greek Easter, Greek traditions, Greek food. A lot of that's coming up.
And You all don't realize what's going to happen in this room.
It's going to get very loud.
Because I have to say something that's really important and significant here.
All right.
The fact that we will have 3 Greeks in one room, all in broadcasting.
And then a fourth Greek.
And a fourth Greek, Maria Christie, who's a chef in her own right, is a big deal, I think, for Houston, for, one of the most international cities in the world. And you and Roula, I have to say, are legends, by the way.
Oh, please.
You are legends. I have to say that. So sitting in this seat.
That just means we're old.
No. Sitting in this seat is definitely an honor.
We'll talk a little bit more about our history in a little bit. I do want to mention also on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at, as much as we talk about the holidays, and a lot of you have just come off holidays or are experiencing them, in our community, there is still a serious issue when it comes to food insecurity, and we're going to be taking a look at that and why this area, such a rich community, why we struggle with this still. Also, to feed our souls, the Houston Symphony has announced their new season. We're going to be talking with them a little bit about what's to come. And all that is still to come on today's show. We always invite you to be part of the conversation. Give us a call, 713-440-8870. You can call, text, or even email us at talk@hellohouston.org. But things may seem a little different here today, but a lot's exactly the same, such as headlines. And Foti, start us off.
All right, Ernie. $1 billion a year. That is the tax break that the state of Texas is giving data centers, according to the comptroller's office. It's estimated that the state will lose about $3.2 billion in sales tax revenue over the next 2 years, but some say that figure is likely more due to the explosion of new facilities that are being built in our state. With this incentive, data center owners won't have to pay the state's 6.25% in sales tax on purchases related to building and maintaining their facilities. This includes things like servers, other data storage software, office equipment, cooling systems, emergency generators and plumbing, and electricity, sales tax on electricity. This is one of the state's costliest incentive programs and soon to be one of the most expensive of its kind in the nation. Lawmakers are keeping an eye on this ahead of the next legislative session, which starts in January. Some are considering proposals to either limit the scope of the tax break or get rid of this incentive program altogether. And just a little bit of background, lawmakers approved this tax break more than a decade ago with data centers when they were smaller and they required fewer resources, meaning energy consumption. From 2014 to 2022, this exemption was between $5 to $30 million in state revenue per year. And get this, in 2023, that number skyrocketed to more than $150 million. This year, the state of Texas is foregoing $1.3 billion with a B. The tech industry says these tax breaks are critical in maintaining the industry's investments in the state, and they say it creates jobs and also generates local tax revenue. Well, one last point, there's about 121 data centers receiving the sales tax break right now, according to state records. So what do you think about these tax breaks for the data centers? Are they a good investment for the state of Texas that will end up paying dividends for us? Or will they just end up costing us even more money in the long run? We want to hear from you. This is a really hot topic, especially in the AI world right now that we're living in. Call us at 713-440-8870 or also chat with us on the YouTube channel. Ernie, this is a big deal right now.
Yeah, I'm always torn on these incentives because the reason we tax is because when a profitable business is available to us, their tax revenue helps fuel everything we do. But all too often, those at the top of the pyramid who bring in the most money are the ones we often give these tax breaks to. And I understand you want to bring them to the community. They do also deliver jobs. They are purchasing products within our community. It's just the tax end of it. But I wonder if it balances out. I mean, if Texas has the space, and we have lots of space here, and they are ripe for these centers, if they didn't have this level of tax break, would they go somewhere else? Or would they still come here and just swallow that cost?
Well, it's interesting because Texas is one of 37 states that actually is offering this tax exemption for data centers. And Texas, lawmakers, especially the governor, has said Texas is open for business. They are businessmen, and they are competing with these other 37 states. And right now, in this tech industry that we're finding ourselves in, this AI boom, these data centers have to be built, and they have to be built bigger than ever before. The thought is, and this is just from my time in corporate America, I used to work at Comcast. Shout out Comcast, love them. But data centers are the backbone of the internet. They're the backbone of everything that we do. And so, with the servers that come in, they require a lot of energy. And without this infrastructure, it's kind of like when you're drawing in businesses, you need to make sure that the infrastructure is there for them to come.
And I don't question any of that. My concern is, though, they're a for-profit industry that makes a good profit. It's not like you're giving a tax break to somebody who wouldn't make it otherwise, that their business would fold because taxes are too high. So like so many mom and pop businesses, so many smaller businesses don't get these tax breaks. Yeah. It almost feels like the same way when billionaires don't get taxed at the same level that the rest of the folks do. And I used to know someone who always used to say, the rich just get richer. So exactly, where is it? Where do we get this revenue? Because think how the state could benefit from having that revenue. Are there other ways to bring incentives to companies to come here besides that? But as long as they're making billion-dollar profits, I kind of do have an issue with it.
Yeah, and what I was really surprised to know in just researching this article, it's not just the tax break, the sales tax break that they're going to get on the storage hardware, the software, the office equipment, the cooling systems. Those things are, for a big business, I wouldn't imagine that those are big costs. What really surprised me is that it's the sales tax on the electricity.
Yeah.
And that is what is consumed the most. And if you've been following data centers and the energy consumption they take, that's, I think, where they're going to get the most tax break.
713-440-8870. We invite you to share your thoughts on this. If you look at this, if you're an owner of a business and have a concern about it, let us know what you think. Heather's on the line right now from Southwest Houston. Heather, what's on your mind?
I think it's just horrible that they're giving these data centers those tax breaks, considering the energy that they consume and the fact that the state of Texas can't afford to feed and clothe and house children. CPS is in deplorable shape, and yet they want to just give away $1.something billion to data centers so they can make money hand over fist. It's obscene. I think Texas needs to back off of the business friendly and become more Texas citizen friendly.
Thank you for those comments. I think you express what a lot of people feel. The part where the rub comes in for me here is the fact that they do bring in money in a different way into communities. Now, yes, I believe that they should be paying their fair share in taxes, but also they do create jobs. They do buy these products that they may not be taxed on, but also the people that produce these products are getting paid for it. It's not that everything is free there. So it's the balance between, do they bring more opportunity into the state simply by being here, and therefore we forego the tax money. But to your other point too, to lose to have such a deficit in other areas of our community and the structure of our civilization here, we need to be able to fund these things. So it's an interesting point. 713-440-8870.
I think another interesting point is we really don't know. They say they're going to bring more sales tax revenue, more jobs, more companies, big companies to the state of Texas, which ends up creating more jobs, which ends up, more homes being built, more people spending money in Texas. But I haven't heard of the numbers, though.
Right.
I haven't heard of the actual numbers. And I think it's probably because this is something very new with larger and larger data centers being built. Has that really been tested yet, what the economic impact is for these data centers?
I'll throw a wrench into this whole argument and say, but the more these centers are built, and of course my mind goes simply to AI and all of the resources those take up to work in that field, you need less and less people to do it. And then there's talk, as the technology advances, it will get smaller and smaller. They're going to build these huge centers that in 10 years from now may very well be obsolete. We've lost all that tax revenue, and this industry has shrunk down. It is now in control of everything, and it's tiny, and it's got tax breaks. Wine Goddess Texas says, I agree, Ernie. That's why I'm reading your comment. Yeah. I agree, Ernie. The tax burden to support our community falls disproportionately on small businesses and working and middle class. Alex Garza says, people don't think about this, but data centers also have high water usage and indirectly add to the cost for homeowners. Those are some points on that one. What do you think? Give us a call, 713-440-8870.
I don't know if you've been in one of those data centers. I've been in a data center right here in Houston.
Yeah.
You go in there and it is freezing. It is freezing, and it's nothing but racks and racks and racks and racks of servers. And the water that it takes to cool it all, you can't just cool it on just, really cold air conditioning. And the state did enact, Senate Bill 6 in 2025. It requires those large power users to share the cost of connecting to and maintaining the grid. But lawmakers are going to have to figure this out. I know that Dan Patrick has been, he's been vocal about this issue, and some other congressmen in the state, and the legislative session's coming up, and they're going to have to make a decision how much, if any, tax breaks that they're going to give.
We're going to go back to the phones. Let's grab, and I think I'm pronouncing it correct, Amadeo. Amadeo at 713-440-8870. Did I get your name right, or did I ruin it?
Yeah, you got it right. It's Amadeo.
And you're calling us from East Texas. What's on your mind?
So what's on my mind is that by giving tax breaks to the corporations that are using the land and the resources on the land itself, not just the cost of sales, we're reducing our value of our land, not just the monetary value. We're losing the actual resources of the land itself, making it less valuable. So we're making tax breaks when we should be increasing tax rates for reducing our value of the land itself.
Yeah, good point. Something to keep in mind as we continue through this. I'd be curious to see where all of this ends and the public reaction to it as it progresses. Yeah. 713-440-8870. Feel free to give us a call. Coming up on the show, though, we're going to move ahead. We're going to talk about food insecurity. We have the Center for Community and Public Health at Rice University's Kinder Institute for Research joining us, and we hope you'll stay with us. You're listening to Hello Houston right here on News 88.7. Hello again. Right now, we are in campaign. You may not be aware of that, but we're here to remind you of it. So if you have an opportunity right now to do something very important to your community, that is give us a call, 888-909-0887, or visit us online at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate. We always like to begin these drives with some unique incentive. Today's a great one. We are looking to unlock $30,000 in cash that's just sitting there waiting for us. The way we do that is 500 people need to make a pledge today. You need to make a donation. Doesn't matter the amount. It can be $1, it can be $1,000. They all add up. If we can get to 500 members today activating, we will unlock $30,000. So take a moment right now and make that donation. I would love to hear from every one of our YouTubers. If you folks that follow us on YouTube decide right now this is the moment, go online, houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or call 888-909-0887.
It's so important, Ernie, especially now, protecting the independent news as we move further into our first year without that federal funding. It's really important to hear from all of the Houston area. This kind of news coverage has to continue. It must continue. And we want to thank you for your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate. Please give there, or you can also call us at 888-909-0887.
Give now, and you can help us unlock a massive gift of $30,000 from a group of donors. Okay, here we go. We need to hear now from just under 300 donors. So 200 have already been activated. So we need 297 people before 7 p.m. to become members or to renew or to add an additional gift, and the amount doesn't matter. That's the beauty of it. If you've been listening and you care about the station, $1, $2, $10, do a sustaining membership of maybe $20 a month. Anything will add into that. And then if we get to those 500 folks, $30,000 will be unlocked. But we need to hear from you right now. Please be one of these very important donors. Go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or give us a call at 888-909-0887.
26 people have died in ICE detention since October.
Meet Dio Choco. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. This is his story. Visit ridemetro.org/Choco to find out where is Choco.
A former detainee speaks out on all things considered from NPR News.
You can hear it this afternoon at 3 o'clock.
You're listening to Hello Houston, where the voices, issues, and ideas that shape our city come together. From immigration to education, from local elections to cultural conversations, this show dives deep.
And it only happens because listeners like you choose to give. Right now, during our fall campaign, we're asking for your support.
If this show matters to you, take the next step and make your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
Support comes from Pearland, Texas, a community supporting innovation in business, science, healthcare, energy, and inspiring their citizens. More on innovation happening in Pearland at pearlandedc.com. Pearland, innovation lives here. Support comes from Metro. World Cup planning includes transit improvements intended to serve Houston after the final match. Metro provides bus, rail, and paratransit service and continues mobility enhancements across the region. More at ridemetro.org/Metro Now.
Support comes from the Houston Symphony, presenting Adams Conducts Adams and Appalachian Spring, welcoming composer and conductor John Adams and music of Aaron Copeland. April 18th and 19th at Jones Hall. Tickets at houstonsymphony.org.
Everybody, I mean everybody, needs more electric power right now.
So our customers are those who, want to operate at a hospital or a military base or a data center somewhere, and the grid isn't there yet or is not reliable enough.
I'm Kai Rizdal inside the new nuclear economy next time on Marketplace.
You can check out Marketplace coming up tonight. That's on at 6:30.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Insperity Invitational, presented by United Healthcare, bringing the legends of the PGA Tour champions to the Woodlands Country Club Tournament course May 4th through 10th. Information and tickets at insperityinvitational.com.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's Ernie Manouse and special guest host Foti Kallergis.
You said it right.
You did.
All right. Thank you. All right, we're back to Hello Houston, and we obviously want everyone to tune in and to chat with us and to give some feedback to us with our guests. In Houston, a staggering number of families are struggling to put food on the table, with recent estimates showing that about 40% of households are food insecure. It's an issue that goes beyond access to groceries or touching on affordability, transportation, or broader economic challenges that are facing many communities. Local leaders and organizations are working together to understand the root causes in order to find that long-term solution. Joining us now is Dr. Luz Maria Garcini, director of the Center for Community and Public Health at Rice University's Kinder Institute for Urban Research, who recently wrote about this issue. And Dr. Garcini, I hope I said your name correctly. I'm really big about pronouncing names right. Welcome to Hello Houston. And if you'd like to join the conversation, obviously, online, you can also join that conversation or call and text us at 713-440-8870. Good morning, Dr. Garcini.
Good morning. Buenos días.
So I'm curious, just to start with, do we spend, from your point of view, too much time worrying about, and that's probably the wrong way to couch it, but concern about the immediate solution, looking at making sure we fund this food bank or making sure we have this available or that, when really the issue will never get fixed in the short term? We need to be looking at long-term solutions.
Thank you for your question. Actually, I think it's both, right? Because when people don't have access to sufficient and nutritious food, it's an immediate need. Mm-hmm. Nothing else matters. If you don't have enough food to put on the table or to feed your family, nothing else really matters. That's a priority need. And then we also need to be thinking in the long term, how do we solve the crisis that we have for our city? So I think we need to think immediate solutions, but also what do we need to do in the long term?
How difficult is it? You know, you've seen the stressors recently with government shutdowns and SNAP benefits being taken away, and, you know, the latest one with not being able to pay certain members of the federal government. How difficult is it for you to come up with a solution or even a long-term solution when the goal point keeps moving?
Yes, thank you. So I think it is hard. However, if we look at the history of Houston, Houston has done really hard things, right? We have rebuilt after hurricanes, after devastating floods. You know, we are a model nationwide in terms of how we have reduced the rates of the unhoused population in Houston by coming together. I do believe that we have the talent, the resources to do it. We just need to organize ourselves better. There is a lot of redundancy in terms of what agencies are doing to deliver it to the people. And we know exactly where the problem is. We know the communities that are more impacted. We know the locations that are impacted. So I think even though we need additional information, we have done harder things as a city. So if we can figure it out, if we can coordinate efforts, I think we can create a system that can actually be helpful for other urban regions to emulate and be able to address a national crisis.
Let's talk a little bit about the global problem we're talking about. It's not a situation that is just affecting Houston. It is truly global. Has anyone from your research, from your studying, figured out a way to fix this problem in their communities? And if so, why are not more people following it?
I really appreciate that question, and is very timely because actually next month, myself, a team of us from the Kinder Institute and also for the Baker Institute of Public Policy, because they go hand in hand, right? Yeah. We can address the issue in terms of organizations and delivery of systems, but we also need the policy people to be at the forefront to be able to do this. So a big team of us are going to the World Food Policy Forum in Spain to try to figure out how other cities, how other countries around the world have addressed this issue, because it is interesting. It's different than hunger, right? Sometimes it disguises itself as things are okay because yes, you have something to put on the table. The problem that we have, it is not the right food. And we also know that it comes with a lot of psychosocial factors like a constant stress, like also not the quality of the food. Putting foods that we know already has a lot of harmful health effects to increase the risk of chronic diseases, right? Of infectious diseases, of so many other issues that come into play. So that is exactly what we will be doing in the month of May to try to figure out what has been done in the world that has worked so that we can actually bring that knowledge and try to do it in Houston.
At this point, though, do we have beacons we look to? Is there a community out there? Look, they figured this out. This group didn't. This group did it right. This group just lost money and never accomplished what they set out to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest one is the Scandinavian nations, right? The Scandinavian nations have been able to figure out what are some systems. And I do believe that a lot of that is coordinated efforts and reducing the redundancy of the things that we do. So a lot of different agents, for instance, are doing the same thing, which sometimes leads us in the face of limited resources not to be very efficient and very effective in what we do. So if we can organize ourselves as to, okay, what does your organization does and what does it does really well? And then find out not to reduce the reproduction of systems to be able to target those efforts. And definitely, I think we need to think strategically in terms of the investment in the city. We know, as ironic as this seems, that transportation is a big issue. So if you don't have the transportation to go to the food bank or to go to all these places that offer affordable food, on the days that you are off work or whatever, it's going to be really, really hard for you to kind of bring your groceries home, right? Even if you belong to programs like the, Food is Medicine or Food RX programs that give people vouchers, we know that sometimes people cannot redeem those vouchers because they don't have refrigerators in their homes to store the food. They don't have the transportation to go do it, or sometimes even the opening hours of those programs do not coincide with people's work schedules. Because that is another interesting fact.
It's funny you say that. We've been talking about, even on today's show, that the concept that I call the ripple effects of things, that we think, well, the answer is just make sure there's more food available for these folks. But you forget, it's the transportations, it's the time, it's the opportunity, it's the willingness, it's the ability to use the food that's presented to them. It's the health factor. All of these play into food insecurity, as opposed to the point you made earlier, which is hunger is one thing, but food insecurity is a different set of issues.
Yeah, correct. And I think the other piece that is so important to make is we're talking about families that are working, right? We saw that even among those families that are making on average $35,000 a year, believe it or not, some families are making it on $35,000 a year, between $35,000 and $75,000 a year, they're struggling with food insecurity. So even though they're employed, their salaries are not enough to put food on the table. So think, for instance, about the grocery clerk, right, that put all of these vegetables, and can't afford to buy them, or the waiter or the waitress that serves the food that they cannot afford to buy themselves. So I think we need those policies as to what does good compensation that is comparable to the rising cost of living and the rising cost of food, because everything is interconnected.
It is, and that's something that everyone really is concerned about. We're speaking with Dr. Luz Maria Garcini, Director of the Center for Community and Public Health at Rice University's Kinder Institute for Urban Research, about food insecurity in Houston. If you'd like to join this conversation, you can call or text us, 713-440-8870. Dr. Garcini, the question that I have is also on the other side of this, the food banks. When costs go up for everyone, it also, I'm assuming, goes up for food banks. What are you hearing from those programs that are actually the lifeline for these families, and what kind of strain are they having in this whole equation? Because they do provide that at least temporary solution for our communities right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we are very, very privileged and very honored in the city to have the largest food bank in the country. And they provide essential, I would say, lifeline services to people. They have their arms everywhere. They try to reach, but even as their own Houston Food Bank says, distribution alone doesn't solve the problem. And ironically, their mission and the vision is not only to reduce the line, but their main goal is to eliminate the line. So they are trying, but even amid all of the changes that we're hearing, they're also struggling to keep certain programs that are vital. And what is more interesting is programs that we know they work, programs that have been proven to reduce the rates of chronic conditions, the use of healthcare services that are very expensive. Once you can keep people eating the right foods, nutritious food, and people become healthier, a lot of other things start reducing the burden in terms of cost for these families. So they are struggling to keep these programs surviving given the recent funding cuts and all of that. But they are just a warrior, and they collaborate with many organizations because they are committed to those communities that are more in need.
Let's talk a little bit about the concept of food deserts. We were talking earlier about tax breaks to these big data centers coming in. And I look at food deserts from a purely business point of view. There's no grocery store there because I guess they don't see a profit in that community. Is that too narrow a view of why these food deserts are there? Is it that the folks that live in that community can't afford to shop in these stores, so therefore the stores don't go there? Is it if there were tax breaks, would stores maybe come in? Are there these programs that exist that we don't know about to help change that? Or am I looking at it all wrong, worrying about that concept?
Well, it's very interesting. I really appreciate your question, right? Because we know, for instance, in Houston, we know the communities in the north by the Greensport area and by the airport are the ones that are the hardest hit. 4 in 5 households are struggling with food insecurity in that region. And there is a very limited of the major grocery stores. So what is happening to these families is they have to go and purchase the grocery because this is our families also that have trouble with transportation, that perhaps they don't have refrigerators, right? So what they do is they have to buy their products from smaller stores that sell the goods and sell particularly the nutritious food at higher cost. So it's costing them more money, right?
Like the convenience stores.
These families will need to afford it, but we need to map out where those and talk to some of the retailers to find out what can I do so that we invest in these communities to start reducing the burden of how expensive it is for them to buy the food where they are.
Another little side note to this whole point is the new regulations that are coming out when it comes to social services helping folks with food from the government, limiting what they can purchase and what they can buy. With their belief behind it, they're going to make them get healthier foods. But then you talk about an area where your options are so limited and then you're blocked on what you can purchase. What are your understandings of how that situation plays out?
Oh, you're touching on a very sensitive issue for the community right now, right? Because it's also something that we haven't talked about is also fear. It's also fear of accessing any of these services. Because, for instance, people are afraid, like, okay, if I go and receive food, is it going to go on my record? Am I going to be eventually be perceived as a burden? We have heard this with our immigrant communities. So the concern is they are hesitant to use any of the services, not to reinforce their rhetoric that they are a burden to society. So sometimes, even though those services exist, people are not using them out of fear and out of concern as to how is this going to fire back on me.
I hadn't heard that part of the argument. That's fascinating. And so we have a lot of work ahead of us, don't we?
Yes, we do. But we can do it.
Yeah, one YouTuber also talking about food insecurity, housing instability, eviction risk, transportation needs, all intertwined. I would also add to that, once they get the food, do they know how to prepare it? And that's a whole nother, do they know how to cook?
Yeah, I'd never thought about not having a refrigerator.
Not having a refrigerator, exactly. Yeah. Well, Dr. Luz Maria Garcini, Director of the Center for Community and Public Health at Rice University's Kinder Institute for Urban Research, thank you so much for joining us today on Hello Houston. We really appreciate your time and really value the work that you and your team are doing. So thank you. Coming up, we're going to hear from the Houston Symphony and what they have coming up in the 2026-2027 season. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
We've been talking about food insecurity and what we can all do to make sure people in our community have what they need. Houston Public Media takes that care of the whole community in another way. We share information to make sure you are not knowledge insecure, but that you have the information you need to function in our community and to become aware of the areas where there are issues and where maybe your best efforts can be applied to help make this a better community for all. We connect you to the community. And when you donate to Houston Public Media, you're helping everyone in the community learn, grow, and be informed. And all you have to do is donate. We ask right now that you make a donation to Houston Public Media online at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or by calling 888-909-0887.
And your donation is so important. Give now and you can help us unlock a massive gift. We're talking $30,000 from a group of donors. We need to hear from you. We need to hear from about 253 people before 7 p.m. to earn that 30 grand. Time is running out, y'all. I want you really to get on your computer or your cell phone and go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or you can call us at 888-909-0887.
You know, it's interesting. We talk about the number of people we still need to hear from in the next 7 hours to unlock this amount of money. We're hoping to get 18 of you to donate right now before noon. If you've already donated, thank you so much for doing it. You know, the beauty of this, and we don't say it enough, is that Hello Houston has become a pretty strongly listened to program, doing very well in our time slot, which tells us you're out there. You support the show we do, and you care about this program. You join us every day. Right now, I need you to join us in a different way. I need you to become a member if you're not. 888-909-0887.
We're working to get through our first year without federal funding. That money.
Meet Damola, songwriter, world-class violinist, and award-winning multi-genre artist. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. Visit ridemetro.org/Damola to learn more about his ride.
Call 888-909-0887.
Houston Matters highlights the people, places, issues, and ideas that define Greater Houston, and we do it live on the air weekday mornings at 9 on News 88.7. But we know you're not always available then to listen, so subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours, or find each day's program to stream online at your leisure at houstonpublicmedia.org. And reach out with questions or comments anytime. Email us at talk@houstonmatters.org.
Why give to Houston Public Media? Because you're listening to Hello Houston right now, a show that gives you more than just headlines. It provides context, community, and connection.
You hear from experts, local leaders, and everyday people. You get the complete picture, and that only happens with your support.
This journalism is powered 100% by listeners. That means you make it possible.
If this show matters to you, take the next step. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Houston Parks Board, celebrating 50 years of improving the lives of Houstonians through enhancing access to parks and green space. Learn more at houstonparksboard.org.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from electricityplans.com, helping Houstonians find electricity plans based on home energy usage and rate comparisons. Enrollment details and more at electricityplans.com.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from Baylor College of Medicine. Baylor's work centers on advancing health and medicine through research, education, and patient care.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's Ernie Manouse and special guest host Foti Kallergis.
Over the past few months, we've invited representatives from Houston's many acclaimed arts organization onto the show to talk about their upcoming 2026-27 seasons and to give Houstonians a preview of all the fantastic shows, performances, and artists heading to the Bayou City in the upcoming season. Today, that focus shifts over to the Houston Symphony, who have recently announced their 26-27 season, which consists of classical masterpieces, world-renowned musicians, 2 curated festivals, family concerts, and so much more. To tell us all about the new season is Gary Ginstling. He is the CEO of Houston Symphony. Gary, welcome to the program.
Welcome. Hi, Ernie. Thanks for having me.
Okay, I will say this. This is the problem I always have with the Houston Symphony and doing an episode like this or a segment like this. You guys do so many performances. How many across everything you do in a season? How many performances?
God, we probably perform 150 to 175 concerts a year. You can come to all of them.
I was joking earlier, and I said 140, and then I turned to Foti and I said, well, I'm exaggerating. I wasn't. There's a lot that you folks do. Is there a simple, focused theme you can say of the overall season?
Look, I think that the theme is that we have something for everyone. We have such a diverse range of programming. Our classical season, so next season will be our music director, Uri Valchua's 5th season as music director. Of course, that's our bread and butter. That's why we exist. That's why the Houston Symphony is such a gem in the community for the work we do in our classical season. Our pops programming is incredibly diverse. We have special concerts throughout the season, our commitment to young people. So, last season we reached almost 325,000 people across all those concerts here in Houston. Yeah.
And for folks who hear symphony and think, deep pockets, I can't go to the symphony, you guys make it available for everyone in different ways, shapes, and forms, from public concerts out in outdoor spaces to discount tickets within. If somebody wants to hear classical music or the symphony, they can.
Thank you for saying that, Ernie. It's true. We have a lot of opportunity for people to hear our concerts at low cost or free. We're at Miller Outdoor Theater all summer performing free concerts. We have a number of free concerts over the course of the season. We have great student discounts, student ticket opportunities. We have opportunities for members of the military and their families, community access programs. So there are a lot of ways to access the Houston Symphony for very low cost.
I always like to focus on that because people always think, well, I can't go to this. Everyone that wants to has an opportunity. That's what's so wonderful about your organization.
And I'm so glad that you said that there's something for everyone at the Houston Symphony. I'm glad you said that because I think last year it was that you all brought Cynthia Erivo out. Is that right? For a special performance, and that story went everywhere. And I think you really got the attention and got the ear, no pun intended, or pun intended, of a number of folks who may not have thought, about the symphony. Any other moments like that are coming to this season?
Well, thank you for saying that. So I was probably only here for a couple of months when we had Cynthia Erivo last season. She came for 2 nights. The hall was completely filled. You couldn't get a ticket. And
people wanted to come hear her?
A few people wanted to come. And it was, but it was a great example of like the kind of energy that we can bring. Yeah. We're committed to live music across so many different genres. And I think the moments that I think about are really, you could take a snapshot in time. From where I'm sitting, over the last couple of months, we've performed great Brahms symphonies, Beethoven symphonies. We collaborated with we did a program on the music of Billy Joel. We did a program, collaborated with the R&B artist Shaggy for a night. So you're going to see us do everything. Kids programs. We just performed the music from. We're doing Toy Story coming up next month. Very cool. Screening the film with the orchestra playing live music. So we've got something. We really do have something for everyone.
From Rachmaninoff to Harry Potter. You got it covered.
Exactly. And everything in between.
With everything in between it, yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the educational value of the Houston Symphony and the family series and what the real impetus is behind all of that.
So we are absolutely committed to educating people. And look, we're all about sharing live music, and we believe in that. And that's why our musicians are so great at what they do. And we want the younger generations to experience a live symphony orchestra. Symphony orchestras haven't changed in generations. You're hearing a group of 100 musicians on stage in a great concert hall, and we want young people to experience that. So we have family concerts on the weekends where parents can come and bring their kids. We have our student concert series, which is a really remarkable program. This year, over 60,000 kids from Houston came in over the course of the year, came to Jones Hall with their classes, upper elementary and middle school kids, to hear the Houston Symphony. For many, it was their first time in downtown Houston, first time hearing a live symphony orchestra. And that means so much to us as we're introducing people to what we hope will be a lifelong love of this art form. And I have to say, it's amazing how many of our patrons and supporters, members of our board, can talk about that first time, maybe it was 50 years ago, 60 years ago, where they came to hear the Houston Symphony as a student. So this is something that's been going on for generations, and we're really passionate about it.
And also, keeping with education for a moment, the significance of the developing brain hearing the structure of classical music and how it's not just an auditory joy for the moment, but that it really does change an understanding of mathematics and calculations and all of this. There's so much more when you are exposed to classical music.
Absolutely. And in fact, we're committed to a program, a music and wellness initiative. We're collaborating with Methodist Hospital, with Texas Children's, with MD Anderson, sharing music with patients. We have programs, collaborations with dementia centers across the city. So we're really committed to using music for good and not just for entertainment, but it is entertaining all the same.
Extremely entertaining.
I truly believe that. I'm so glad that you said that, because I do believe that music is so important in our daily lives and also is healing to us in a lot of ways. not just, the music that you hear, it's the vibrations that you, I believe, get when you are in the same room as music playing. So I'm glad you said that. One question for me, Gary, I'm going to go back to this just selfishly. Is that okay, Ernie? Just selfishly.
Sure. Selfish is what we're all about
Cynthia
here.
Erivo? How is she? Can you just give us a little bit about, our girl Cynthia and how she is?
She is unique. She is incredibly special. And I think for me, the story that sums it all up, if you were in the house, you've never heard a more electric performance. Yeah. But we probably had 700 or 800 people waiting on Texas Avenue by our stage door, and we all thought she would want to take another exit to avoid the crowds, and she insisted on going out there after the show and spent 45 minutes out there taking selfies and photos with people, just engaging with folks who were there to see her, who were as enthusiastic as you were about seeing her. So she's a special artist, I have to say.
I want to remind everyone that the full list of everything that you're doing currently and in the upcoming season is available at HoustonSymphony.org. I say that because we've barely gotten into actually hitting it. So tell me, maybe because of the limit of time, maybe 3 or 4 things that really stand out in the season that you're excited about that everyone should hear about.
So I'll start on the classical side with our music director, Uri Valchul. He has a habit now of programming mini festivals over the course of the season. So we are going to start with a 2-week Rachmaninoff festival. I can't think of a better composer. Rachmaninoff, one of the great romantic composers for orchestras. And so this will be lush romantic music and some of the most fiendishly difficult piano concertos ever written. We'll showcase his 3rd piano concerto with the incredible pianist Yefim Bronfman. I can't think of a better way to start the season. We've got a number of incredible guest artists. We'll have a guest artist in residence next season, violinist Gil Shaham, really one of the great violinists of our time. He'll be with us 3 different times, so you'll see 3 different sides of him. And what I love about that, it's a chance to really sort of get to know an artist and get to know their personality, and he has just a fabulous personality.
I feel like we barely got into it all, and we're out of time, but remember, HoustonSymphony.org.
That's it.
I want to make sure it was the org. Sometimes I get them backwards. Go there. See everything that they are doing. Gary, thank you so much for joining us and sharing what's coming up this season at the Houston Symphony. Coming up on our show, we're going to continue discussing today's top headlines and the celebration of Greek Easter. And also our weekly current obsessions. And we invite you to share yours. What's taking up all your free time? Let us know. Share them with us. Call us now or text 713-440-8870. Or you can email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Stay with us for the second half of Hello Houston.
Check us out sometime.
I hate to
definitely.
say that.
We are live right now because we are in campaign. And as we do this, we ask for your help and support at 888-909-0887, or you can join us online at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate. We keep hearing questions like, what's in it for me to become a member? What do I get out of Houston Public Media? The easiest answer for what you get out of Houston Public Media is everything. You get news, information, entertainment, hopefully a laugh or two, a moment to think, a growth in your mind, a unity of community. All of that happens because of your support and help to this station. So right now, we ask that you take that moment and become a member. It's easy to do. Just go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And again, this is the first time that we're having this fundraiser for 2026, and this is also our first year without that federal funding. So now we really are turning to you. We only have hours left to unlock $30,000. We are asking for a group of donors to come forward to donate, and that will end up unlocking that $30,000. Now is the time to do that, and I believe we're looking for about 150 donors by 7 o'clock, and you can certainly be one of them. Again, all you have to do is go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menjivar, Jen Altide, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
My assumption is that she simply would decline to participate. And the Bitcoiners love their memes. And one of the memes is a Monty Python sketch where the crowd decides this fellow is a religious figurehead and he denies it. And every denial, they just say, oh, you know, that person would deny it. And there's no shaking their convictions.
I'm Natalie Kitroeff. That's Today on the Daily from the New York Times.
You can hear The Daily tonight at 7 o'clock.
Support comes from Metro. World Cup planning includes transit improvements intended to serve Houston after the final match. Metro provides bus, rail, and paratransit service and continues mobility enhancements across the region. More at ridemetro.org/Metro Now.
We have a slight chance of thunder showers today. Currently it is 76. This is your NPR station, KUHF, Houston. News 88.7, a service of the University of Houston. It's 2 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock.
Just ahead on this hour of Hello Houston, Houston Mayor John Whitmire will not receive the Houston Police Officers Union's endorsement after voting for an ordinance limiting the police department's coordination with ICE. We'll discuss this and more of today's top headlines. I'm Ernie Manouse.
And I'm guest host Foti Kallergis. We'll talk with famed radio personality Roula and her sister Maria Christie of Christie's Restaurant, who will share with us all the rich traditions, food, and celebration of Greek Easter.
Plus, we'll also share a rundown of the things that are currently taking over all of our free time as part of our regular Thursday feature, Current Obsessions. And we want you to share yours.
That's right. Give us a call or text us, 713-440-8870, or you can email us at talk@hellohouston.org. You can also watch us live on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org and clicking the purple box.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
The fragile U.S.-Iran ceasefire continues, though Iran has restricted the Strait of Hormuz again, angry that Israel continues to bomb Lebanon. Iran says Lebanon was covered in the two-week deal, but Israel and the U.S. say it wasn't. Lebanese officials say more than 250 people died in the bombings yesterday and declared a day of mourning. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will start direct negotiations with Lebanon on disarming the Iranian-backed Hezbollah militant group. And Vice President J.D. Vance is leading peace talks between the U.S. and Iran in Pakistan, which are scheduled to take place Saturday. NPR's Aya Batrawi has more on what's on the table for the talks.
The U.S., Israel, and Gulf partners want Iran to stop nuclear enrichment, pause its ballistic missile production, end support to groups like Hezbollah, and open that strait fully. Iran, on its part, wants compensation for the war, sanctions lifted, says its missiles are a red line, and maintains that it has a right to enrichment. So if these talks take place, it's as Israel and Iran each say they, quote, have their finger on the trigger, and with each side, including President Trump, claiming victory going into these talks.
NPR's Aya Batrawi. Energy traffic in the Middle East remains snarled despite that tentative ceasefire. NPR's Scott Horsley has more on the economic ripple effects here at home.
Crude oil prices rose as a fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran failed to provide much relief for bottlenecked tanker traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. AAA says retail gasoline prices showed little change overnight, hovering around $4.16 a gallon. Diesel prices rose about 2 cents a gallon. High gasoline prices are expected to push the government's cost of living measure up when March inflation numbers are released tomorrow. Even before the war, prices were climbing faster than the Federal Reserve would like. The Commerce Department says the U.S. economy grew more slowly in the final months of 2025 than earlier reports had indicated. A final tally says GDP grew at an annual rate of just 0.5% in October, November, and December. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
A former Army employee is facing federal criminal charges for allegedly leaking classified information. NPR's Ryan Lucas has more.
Courtney Williams has been charged with communicating and transmitting classified information. Court papers say the 40-year-old worked for a special military unit at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and that between 2022 and 2025, Williams had phone calls and text messages with a journalist in which she provided details about tactics, techniques, and procedures used by military operators. The journalist later published an article and a book containing statements attributed to Williams that allegedly contained classified information. Court documents also cite text messages Williams allegedly sent afterwards, in which she expressed concern about the amount of classified information in the published materials and said she could get arrested because of it. Ryan Lucas, NPR News, Washington.
This is NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Gail DeLauder. To go after pollution hotspots, Fort Bend County is doing its first ever air quality study. From the Fort Bend County Bureau, News 88.7's Melissa Nanhay says the county doesn't have any permanent air monitoring stations.
A mobile lab has been collecting thousands of chemical compounds in the air as it moves throughout the county. It will map hyperlocal air quality levels over the next couple weeks. Paul Mishtal is a professor with the University of Texas in Austin, one of the partners in the study.
This is the first ever comprehensive air quality study to better understand how air pollution varies across neighborhoods and impacts community health.
Results are expected to be released before the end of the year. For News 88.7, I'm Melissa Nanhay.
The U.S. Drought Monitor says nearly all of the state right now is either abnormally dry or in some level of drought. News 88.7's Kyle McClanagan says a hot and dry winter is one of the main contributing factors.
The state's climatologist, John Nielsen Gammon, says the higher-than-normal winter temperatures have allowed plants to bloom earlier. That's led to increased water use and faster evaporation.
Realistically, to do something like fill up the reservoirs that Corpus Christi depends upon, we would need 20 or more inches of rain in fairly short order, or more moderate above normal rainfall for a much longer period of time.
Drought conditions could subside in other parts of the state if rain picks up throughout the year.
The HISD board tonight considers a reduction in force. That would allow school administrators to cut or reassign hundreds of teaching positions and central office jobs. The district has been losing enrollment over the years, and that means less money from the state. Breezy this evening, slight chance of rain. Overnight low should be around 70. Cloudy and breezy tomorrow, highs 79 degrees. I'm Gail DeLauder, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Charles Schwab, offering investors choices like full-service wealth management, advice, investing, and trading on Thinkorswim. Learn more at schwab.com. And from the Doris Duke Foundation.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now your hosts for Hello Houston, Ernie Manouse and Celeste Diaz-Sherman.
All right. Maybe not Celeste Diaz-Sherman today. Who is sitting next to me?
Unless her voice dropped and she shaved all her head.
Yeah.
All her hair.
So who is here with me?
I'm Foti Kallergis, Ernie.
And why are you here?
Because I'm your bestie Greeky guy.
And also, you've got a bit of a background in television journalism for many years.
Yes.
Over at another station, not us.
Yes. I was at ABC 13. I hope I can shout out to my ABC 13 friends, but I was
trying to avoid that, but all right, here we are.
They're good people, Ernie. They're good people.
So, okay, talk to me and talk to the folks a little bit about your history in media. What got you into it? What made you say, hey, there's somewhere I want to go?
So I was in TV journalism for about 15 years, believe it or not. And I remember you, Ernie, by the way, when I was at U of H studying broadcast journalism, and I thought, this Ernie Manouse guy has the best job, and he's Greek. So, I actually did look up to you, Ernie. And the fact that I get a chance to sit in the seat next to you. Did you notice that was in the past tense? I still look up to you. That's why I said yes when you called to co-host.
Celeste does have the day off, and that's why Foti is here with us.
Yes.
And we keep bringing up the Greek thing because coming up, the Greek thing.
The Greek
I love
thing.
that's how we talk about it.
Takeover of the Greeks.
Yes,
today.
Greek Easter is coming up. Well, Orthodox Easter. We affectionately call it Greek Easter. In our house, we called it Greek Easter and American Easter. Is that what you did?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
And so we thought, you know what? We got 2 Greek hosts. Greek Easter is coming up this weekend. Who else do we know that's Greek that could come join us?
Well, it is the other radio legend, or the other broadcasting legend that I would say, Roula.
Christie
is coming in, and her phenomenal sister, Maria Christie, who is the chef over at Christie's Restaurant, a Houston institution, by the way.
Not just an institution. It is the oldest restaurant in Houston. We'll get the whole story about that. It actually began in Galveston and then moved up to Houston and has been an institution, a staple, I do believe, over 100 years. It's kind of fascinating.
A long time. And just the fact that we're going to have, 3 Greeks in one room, or 4 Greeks in one room, really. 3 Greeks in broadcasting is a really big deal, I think. I'm surprised we don't have the other news outlets in here taking pictures of us and writing amazing stories.
An argument from my family would be all Greeks think they're broadcasting all the time. We are a very loud people at times. Very passionate people. But speaking about things you are passionate about, it is Thursday, which means our current obsessions. There are things that are eating up all of your time, everything you do. You can't wait to get home to turn on the show you're streaming, or you stay in your car to listen to that song a little bit longer. These are your obsessions. The book you can't put down, even though it's 1, 2, 3 in the morning. You got to get through it. We want to know what those are. So give us a call. You can call us or text us 713-440-8870, or you can email us talk@hellohouston.org. We will be sharing our obsessions. We invite you to share yours coming up a little bit later in the show. Even over at YouTube, where we have a very active group. I haven't been talking to you folks much today. Over on YouTube, we have our HuTubers, and they stay very active there. Put your current obsessions right in there for us, too, and we will be sharing them coming up.
Can't wait.
As always, though, we start off with the news headlines, and Foti said he would do it for us today.
I sure would.
Take it away.
All right. The Houston Police Officers Union is cutting off its support for Houston Mayor John Whitmire. This comes after the mayor and city council voted for an ordinance that would limit the department's coordination with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on Wednesday. This ordinance would prohibit Houston police officers from detaining people or prolonging traffic stops due to civil immigration warrants. Whitmire framed this measure as codifying rather than changing HPD's practices. The police union president, Doug Griffith, said that he was blown away by this vote and was blindsided. He said that he thought that he and the mayor were on the same page, pointing to a March policy that did support officers waiting 30 minutes for ICE to respond after the department notifies the agency about civil immigration warrants. So what do you think about this turn of events for Mayor John Whitmire and the Houston Police Officers Union? We want you to sound off, make your comments on YouTube, of course, and also you can call and text us at 713-440-8870. Joining us now to share his thoughts, Doug Griffith with the Houston Police Officers Union. Doug, thank you for joining us. I called you earlier this morning whenever I heard the news, and wanted to make sure that we had your perspective out here today. So tell us a little bit about the news that you've heard so far, and is there anything that you want to clarify based on what has been reported so far in the news?
Yes, sir. We did not remove our endorsement from John Whitmire. We were the first ones to jump out and endorse him when he ran for mayor several years ago. What I said was we will not support any action they take moving forward, including running for a future office, until we get this corrected. Right now, our officers are put in a very precarious position. Should something happen and we do not take someone in on a warrant, including an ICE warrant, then we are to be held liable if something happens down the road. If they go out tomorrow and kill somebody, rape somebody, rob somebody, they're going to come back to us and go, hey, you had them in custody yesterday and you let them go. That is a problem for our officer and should be a problem for the city. The problem is we have people at that horseshoe that are want to take national issues on at a local level. We don't need to be doing that. We've got plenty of problems in the city of Houston right now. $170 million deficit. Water bill's too high. We can't get heavy trash picked up. We got homeless all over downtown. We got mentally ill all over downtown. We've got infrastructure that's crumbling. But yet we're worried about 75 traffic stops HPD made last year in which people were turned over to ICE. I'm sorry. Let's get our priorities right. We have a clear and concise policy that complies with state, federal, and local laws. But because they want to make a name for themselves, you've got Salinas, Pollard, and Abby Kamen, who are all running for bigger offices. Let's just face that. They are trying to make a name for themselves. Well, don't do it off the backs of HPD officers and put our officers in jeopardy.
Doug, it's Ernie here. Quick question for you about all of this. To help people understand, up until this vote, what was the policy, what was the involvement between HPD and ICE, and how has it altered?
Okay, the only interaction we had is if I stop someone or I'm on a scene and by policy I run them and it comes back with a warrant out of the Customs Enforcement, then we have to contact them. They have a determination.
Hold on one second. Contact who? Or not. Just hold on for a second. Contact who? Who do you have to contact?
Customs Enforcement.
Okay.
Okay. ICE. We have to contact ICE, and they will determine whether they want to come and get them or not. Before, it was just, hey, just like any warrant that we serve, okay? If I stop traffic and the guy's want out of Pearland, I have to contact Pearland and confirm the warrant. Then they decide whether they want to come pick them up or not. Same thing with every other agency across the state. This is no different. We contact ICE, say, hey, do you want them or not? Yes, it's a good warrant. We'll come pick them up. How long will it take you to get here? 20 minutes. All right, we'll hold them for you. If it's something else, then we do just like we would any other warrant. There's basically a time limit of what we can wait to do that. Well, that wasn't codified in our general order, so we went back, the department went back and fixed that. Said, look, we think it's reasonable to wait 30 minutes, right? And we do it for everybody the same. It's not like we're just picking and choosing. So the city council, we just did this a couple of weeks ago, new policy come out, we thought everything was good. Then all of a sudden, city council comes back and does this. Now, we've been told.
Okay, and just to clarify, hold on one second. And just to clarify, does this, what was altered then? You established that it was, if you stop someone and you run them and you see that there is a warrant out for them, or, and I guess part of the problem lies in what the warrant is exactly. But if there is, then you contact the agency, the ICE agency, and you will wait up to 30 minutes with the person for ICE to come to deal with the situation. And as I'm understanding,
if they want them.
Yeah, if they want to. And that, as I understand, it's the same as if the Woodlands had a warrant for someone, or as you said, Sugar Land did, you would give the same courtesy, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now
Correct.
the changes, what City Hall has said, is what now?
Once that traffic stop is concluded, I've issued a citation or a warning, we have to let them go. We cannot wait for the other agency.
Do you still wait for the Woodlands or Sugar Land or somebody else? Still, they have the 30-minute wait.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now, understand, there's been, over the last year, 98 people were released from HPD custody because ICE did not want them. 74 were picked up by ICE on the scene. So we're talking about a minuscule amount of people. We have over 2 million contacts a year with citizens, and only 74 were detained. We're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. Everything was fine. We don't have people protesting ICE because we're doing it right here in Harris County. There's an ICE agent at the jail that takes them and deals with them. So we don't have to from that perspective. We don't go looking for them. We don't want to deal with that. But when we have a warrant, I can't tell my guys, hey, just ignore a warrant. That puts you in a very bad, liable position.
I guess part of the discussion here comes into these warrants and what they are. And if I understand correctly, they are not judicial warrants. They are procedural warrants. Explain what the difference is between an ICE warrant and a regular judge's warrant for an arrest.
Well, they're all signed by a magistrate. Okay. You can't have a warrant without it being signed by a magistrate. It just depends on what type of magistrate. Some people claim or believe that these administrative warrants, for whatever reason, are because of them not or being signed by an ICE agent, which is not accurate. So, again, it's just a warrant. That's all we get to see. We can't determine whether it's a criminal, civil. We have no clue. But there is a difference, allegedly, in the type of warrant. If you overstayed your visa, versus if you come to the country, they gave you a court date and you didn't go to the court date. Just like if I write you a ticket, you don't go to your court date, you have a warrant for you. It's the same process. It's the same type of incident. And either one you can arrest for.
So you can't see the difference in the warrants. You just see that there's a warrant. You can't see if it's administrative or criminal. It's just
Correct.
There's a warrant.
Correct.
Doug, what are your fears when it comes to federal funding and what that could mean for the average citizens in the Houston area when it comes to their protection that they are that they have from the police? Any fears from a federal standpoint? Because this is a very hot button issue, not just in Houston, but this is a hot button issue in cities all over the United States.
Oh, absolutely it is. And I understand people being emotional about it. Again, for us, it's not an emotional issue. It's a black and white issue. Are our officers protected if they do this? And currently they are not. So that's part of my issue. And when you take a look at how this works out, we're not, our job is not to be immigration agents. We don't want that job. All we're trying to do is get full clarification in what they want us to do. We had that in place, and City Council has then altered that. So now our officers could be held liable for anything that happens after the fact. If I let someone go and they have an accident after and kill somebody, I could be held liable. The city could be held liable because that is their new policy. So we want to be very cautious in how we do this. And I think what agitates us the most is the fact that none of them reached out to us to deal with this, to talk about it, to get our view on it, to get the department's view on it. They had plenty of opportunity to meet with us. I have put it out there. I will meet with anybody, anytime, to discuss these type of issues. But they choose not to because it doesn't help their cause. All they want to do is fight national issues at a local level. There's absolutely no reason that any city council in this state should be talking about the president, be it Republican or Democrat. Let's fix the issues we have at home. That is more important to me. I was born and raised in Houston. In fact, you want to talk about Foti a little bit? Let's talk about how my parents loved him because he came to their house to interview me one time, and they still talk about that today.
True story.
I was born and raised here, and I love this city, and I care about what happens to the people in it. It has nothing to do with politics for me. It has to do with how we protect our officers and how we protect the citizens of Houston.
Have you talked to Mayor Whitmire this morning?
I have not.
Have you talked to him since this vote, and what has he said?
Nope, he has not contacted me at all.
We had a YouTube call or a post that the law does not require officers to release people with criminal warrants. It only requires them not to detain people in a way that infringes on their 14th Amendment rights. Accurate,
well,
inaccurate?
First, that'd be Fourth Amendment. But
okay.
That is inaccurate because, in fact, I had a case that I personally dealt with that went to the Texas Court of Appeals, 14th Court of Appeals, in which I held a guy longer than a normal traffic stop waiting on a narcotics dog. Narcotics dog come out. We found narcotics. He went to jail. He fought it, saying that we kept him too long because it was like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half. And the court said that was reasonable because of the reasonable suspicion I had that there were narcotics in the vehicle. The same thing here. If a guy shows a warrant, then technically I should be allowed as long as it takes to confirm that warrant and have someone pick him up. That would be a legal political stop, a legal stop. But they're claiming that it's not, that after I would write a ticket, they should be allowed to leave. That's the difference.
One issue you mentioned was the legal protection for officers if, in fact, they release someone following this new ordinance or law, whatever we're referring to it as, if they let the person go and then they commit a crime. Is there any sort of, or would you be comfortable if there was protection that says, and I guess I would assume there already is inherent in it, if you're following the letter of this ordinance and something else happens, that you are not responsible for that?
Yes and no. It depends on what the court says. We have already in place certain protections, right? Qualified immunity. The city has to pick it up when we're acting in good faith with our policy. So, yes, the city would be on the hook for it, but that doesn't protect us from being sued civilly.
Okay.
Another YouTuber said officers are already or were already in a precarious position. HPOU leadership is disregarding real officers who were placed in an uncomfortable position and were unhappy with the laws before. Doug, some folks also saying that it is not the position of the Houston Police Department to be ICE officers. How do you combat that sentiment, that opinion? How do you overcome that?
Well, I can say, number one, no one's contacted me complaining about them having to take anyone in for a warrant, period. Again, all we want to do is follow the law, whatever that law is. And we are not working with ICE. We're not coordinating with ICE. We're not cooperating with ICE. All we're doing is our job. If someone has a warrant, just like any other warrant, we're going to treat it as such. Just because it's a federal warrant, would they say the same thing as an FBI agent's warrant or a Secret Service warrant or a DEA warrant? I mean, they're federal agencies. Are we not supposed to handle those as well?
Yeah.
So you can't pick and choose what you want to do because it's a political topic. That's the problem here. We don't give a damn about the politics of it. All we care is that we're protected and we're doing the right thing. If someone has a warrant, they need to be placed into custody. If they don't want us to do that, then go change the law. We don't care. We're going to enforce the laws that are on the books. If they want to change it, go change it. You don't hurt my feelings. I'm going to continue to do my job.
I'm going to stop here.
That's where the difference is. We don't want them playing politics with our law enforcement agency.
Because of time, we're going to have to leave it there. Doug Griffith, who is the president of Police Officers Union, thank you very much for talking with us today and giving us clarity from your point of view on this issue.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thank you both.
All right.
Just for a programming note, we want to let you know that Abby Kamen will be joining us on Wednesday's show to give her point of view on this same issue.
All right. Coming up on Hello Houston, we are saying Oppa. It's Greek Easter. Roula and Maria Christie from Christie's Restaurants are going to share their rich traditions, food, and celebration of Greek Easter. This is News 88.7.
So many things happen here in Houston, and one of those things right now is we are in campaign.
We're in campaign. Today you're hearing about a number of topics that affect our community, and we need you to know that you are a big, big part of Houston Public Media, because this newsroom and everything that you hear here is community supported, and that's it. You're the one who keeps these conversations like these on air, and your donation right now is so important, probably more important than other years, because no more federal funding is available, and you can now impact the future of your community by giving today. You can give now to help us unlock $30,000. $30,000, Ernie. That's a lot of money. You just need to go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call us at 888-909-0887.
So what exactly does that mean? Well, this is how it works. We are looking for 500 individuals to call, to go online, to become members or renew a membership or increase, add an additional gift. If 500 people do that, a group of our supporters have all come together and put together this fund of money of $30,000. And if they can see 500 people in our community support the work we're doing in this single day, that additional $30,000 will be unlocked and will go to the programming, the initiatives, the work that you love from Houston Public Media. But you got to do it. And the cool part about this is it's not at an amount. It is not so much money you have to donate. Any donation counts toward it. So do it right now. Just go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or give us a call, 888-909-0887.
Again, please protect independent news as we move further into our first year without that federal funding. As we said, this is the kind of news coverage that must continue. We want to thank you for your gift if you've already donated, and we are definitely encouraging all of you to donate if you can. HoustonPublicMedia.org HoustoNMortgage.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
It's a resource I truly believe you could not do without. You join us day in and day out for the news, the information, the thoughtfulness, the questions that it might bring up in your own world, and to make you a better member of our community. And you don't want this service to be reduced or to be lost. You want to make it strong and vibrant as we move through very difficult times. Make that call right now, 888-909-0887, or online at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
Everybody, we know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
Conversations about housing, healthcare, education, and the real issues shaping life in our city.
That's right. Hello Houston brings voices to the mic that need to be heard, but it doesn't happen on its own.
No, this station is entirely community funded, and that means you make Hello Houston possible.
Support the conversations that move Greater Houston forward. Make your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
On the next Fresh Air, an OBGYN who built one of the only mobile gynecology clinics in the U.S. Dr. Mary Fariba Afsari has a new book called Labor. It's a portrait of reproductive health care in America, told through her patients, her Iranian heritage, and the discovery of her mother's illegal abortion. Join us.
You can hear Fresh Air. It's on tonight at 8 o'clock.
Houston Public Media is licensed to the University of Houston system, governed by the UH Board of Regents. Information about open meetings, dates, times, and locations is online at uhsystem.edu.
Support comes from Insperity Invitational, presented by United Healthcare, bringing Nicholas, Player, Trevino, Annika, and friends to town for the Folds of Honor Greats of Golf. One day only, May 9th. Information and tickets at insperityinvitational.com.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's Ernie Manouse and special guest host Foti Kallergis.
Just looking at your grandfather's lineage.
All right, we're back.
You caught me talking to the Greeks. Of course, like all Greeks, I'm talking, our family might be related because we come from the same region, and therefore these people, we all are cousins. Now we're cousins. Okay, this coming Sunday, close to 300 million people worldwide will celebrate Orthodox Easter, from Russia to Ukraine, Egypt to Greece. Why, even right here in the Houston area, over 10,000 folks will be observing it. Two of those folks are Foti and I, and we wanted to share all the rich traditions, the food, and the celebrations of what we call Greek Easter with all of you. But to help us do it, we thought, well, you know what? Let's welcome well-known radio personality Roula and her sister, Maria Christie. You might know them from Christie's Seafood and Steak family. It is the oldest restaurant, if I'm not mistaken, in the greater Houston area, which is really an impressive thing. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Anyway, welcome, both of you.
Welcome. We brought the big guns
today.
Well,
thanks. And thanks for listening to The Roula Show with Eric on 104.1 KRBE.
Oh, well, Monday there we go. Second invited back to our airways. If you would like to join the conversation, all you have to do is call 713-440-8870. Okay, folks, I'll start with the fact the great thing about celebrating Greek Easter, especially in a year like this, and 4 out of every 5 years is, 3 out of every 5 years, we're after American Easter, so we can go and get our candy cheap.
Oh my God,
and
the
we
discounts.
can do everything.
Right. I cleaned out Kroger yesterday. I cleaned them out.
I wiped out Aldi the other day. Monday morning.
Yeah.
I actually got up early to go to Aldi before I came to work to be there when the doors open so I could go in and get my candy real cheap.
Is it every 3 to 5? They didn't know that stat, guys. It's every 3
3 out
years?
of every 5 years.
That we're behind?
were after.
I thought every fourth year we're on the same day.
Every fourth year we're on the same day.
That's
Every
interesting.
1 year we're a week before, which throws us all off.
Oh, okay.
And then
right.
3 times we're after 1 week after, 2 weeks after, and 5 weeks after.
Yeah,
That's the big
that
one.
month plus one is a tricky one.
Right.
Okay, which one of you wants to explain to our listeners why we have a different Easter?
We were talking about this in the car, actually.
Maria can do it.
Well, real quick, because the Catholic follow the Gregorian calendar, which is on the vernal equinox. They follow the vernal equinox, and then the Greeks follow the Julian calendar, and we follow the mystical supper, the Last Supper. So Jesus had
And
to
Passover.
have the Last Supper, the Passover, before Easter happened.
Right, and that Easter or that Passover has to be completed.
Exactly.
And then it's the first full moon after Easter, after Passover complete.
Yes.
It gets.
That's a Gregorian thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you have Instagram, a lot of the stuff has been coming up with, why do we have our Easter after? And we, the 4 of us in here, Foti, Ernie, Maria, and me, I've been corrected many times, as I'm sure you guys have too. We were calling it Greek Easter because we're Greek. But it is Orthodox Easter, as you said.
Right.
And it's not just the Greeks that celebrate it, but in our world, it's Greek Easter. We were raised calling it
it's
Greek
all Greek to
Easter
us, right? I mean,
because it
it's-
wasn't the
it's-
same Easter.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we used to
Take
have
ownership.
I think it was Bunny Easter was American Easter because my mom was always worried if we didn't have an Easter basket and everybody else had them in the neighborhood,
Oh,
we'd feel uncomfortable. So we had Bunny Easter and then we had what they called real Easter.
The Greek Easter.
So within our culture, within our group of folks, it's very family oriented, as many families are, and many immigrant families especially that come from other places. And it becomes a loud, noisy, very big celebration. A lot of people are like Christmas, Christmas, Christmas.
Oh,
when
yeah.
it comes to the Orthodox Christian calendar, Easter's the big kahuna.
For sure. I mean, even in Greece, we were saying what?
in Greece, you get the whole week off. You get an Easter bonus from your work.
Really?
Yeah, it is a big deal. And then Easter Monday,
Don't
everybody's
have work
off.
done during Easter week in Greece. Everyone's shutting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easter week is major.
And of course, I've joked with other folks on the show before. They all say Good Friday. Oh, no. We have Holy Friday.
Right.
Because
Oh,
there's
actually, I
nothing.
didn't think I realized that.
Yeah,
That we
there's
only call it
nothing, as
holy.
I was told, there's nothing good about the death of our Lord.
Well, I had to Google that, Ernie, because even for last Friday, for our Catholic friends and everybody else who celebrated, people ask that all the time too. Why is it called Good Friday? But yes, good also, I had to Google it. I actually read it on the air and I can't remember how it said that good in the whatever language is also holy. So yes, it's the saddest day of the week, but
good. Yeah.
From the saddest comes the celebration.
Right. And do we celebrate? And our celebration begins at midnight. As soon as Saturday Night Live is done, we start celebrating.
Get that flame home.
Yeah, we go to church on Saturday night for at midnight when
For the resurrection
Christ
service.
is risen. And then we eat till 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Right.
And what is in that feast?
Everything that you couldn't have. So at our house, it was the meatballs, the keftedes. It was cheese, lots of cheese, kefalo gaviera, feta. Then we had the mayeritza, which I brought today. And this is Dimitri from Nico Nikos was kind enough to give me some. Now, mayeritza soup is traditionally made with sweetbreads, innards, but Dimitri makes it with lamb. And they put dill, onion, romaine. It's a very soothing soup, and it's supposed to break your fast so that you're not going to introduce your body with all this meat because you've been fasting for 40 days.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to be a nice starter point to get ready for tomorrow, for the day after, which
And
is
some
the
people
roasted
get
lamb.
really hardcore. Like they don't have sweets or anything like that, right, during the whole Lenten season.
Right.
And so in our life, we had a sweet Thea named Betty who would give us a
Thea
box.
means aunt. For
Thea,
those of you
yes,
keeping up.
a Thea or a Tia in Spanish. She would give us a box of Godiva that my mom would just put on this shelf. And I'd stare at that thing.
Yeah, we would stare at salivate.
Salivate. I cannot wait for that chocolate when we get home from Anastasi's service on Saturday night. And I was like, as long as I'm awake to have some of that chocolate, because we could not have sweets for her. My mom was hardcore, 40 days. I don't know how she kept all 5 kids 40 days.
We were, as we said, very
Fasting.
Americanized. We didn't get that carried. I had some very traditional Greek friends, and oh my God! But then the mom would be like doing all the baking and cooking leading up to that celebration because food is a huge part of it.
It's a huge part of it. And I was going to say the celebration for us started when we needed to go and pick out the
The
lamb.
lambs.
Oh,
You gotta go get the lambs.
Let's just talk about the lambs, because two things you
Who
don't
has
want to be
them?
in Greece, I was telling Ernie, is a honeybee and
a lamb.
A lamb.
Do people
Right?
ask you guys as
You don't.
Greeks, why do we eat so much lamb? Why is it lamb? Why is it lamb? Do y'all know why it's lamb?
Because it tastes good.
Lamb of
It's
God.
the Lamb of God.
Really good, yeah.
And also in the region of Greece, that's think of all the word for the herd of the lamb is the provato, the provata, and every picture we've seen, besides island pictures,
Yeah.
it's a sheep herder in the middle of the street, and you're stuck in a car
That's
waiting
right.
for the lambs to cross the street.
Yeah.
It is a very primary. Like Texas has beef. I feel like Greece has the lamb.
the lamb.
Yeah.
It's the lamb.
Yeah.
And there's also an order to the Holy Week. You know, today is Holy Thursday.
Right.
This is the day you're supposed to dye the eggs red. We don't dye the eggs in our culture pastels, as you guys know. But for your audience to know, it's not about the pastel colors, but the very blood red eggs that you need to do for the blood of Christ. And this is the day, Holy Thursday, is when you dye the eggs.
And you don't dye them in Paz dyes.
No,
What do
it's
you
a special
We
dye.
have actually. I brought one with me. There's a special dye that in Greece you can get it from the supermarket, and it makes this blood red color.
And they sell it at Phoenicia. We
Yeah.
found it at Phoenicia last
Yeah.
week. Usually you can find it
I
there.
also heard if you boil them with beets or something,
Well,
there's that
you can do the
whole
skins
world.
of the onions.
Oh, skins of the onion.
Because
Yeah.
beets will turn them purple. The onions turn them red. More like a sienna-ish red. I did the natural way one year. They don't get red like this. But it is a trick. It's very tricky. You've got to make sure you're wearing your gloves. And I have a friend whose mom, they had a white kitchen. She did the red eggs one time. She's like, hold on. We're not doing the red eggs in our kitchen next time.
Anyway, but it's quite
It's a
tradition.
process.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful. They're beautiful.
My mom would just use the regular coloring.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, my favorite part was the eggs. And the reason is because we play this game with the eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I forgot what it's called.
Well, that's sugrisum avga.
Yes.
We're gonna bump the eggs.
That's right. So so it's a competition,
Show
I
it,
guess,
Roula.
of
We're not
whose
gonna
egg
bump
is
it.
not going to break.
Right.
Oh, are we supposed to do that today? It's
We're not
Thursday.
doing it
Right, I was
today,
going
we're
to say,
just
you
showing.
can't be doing this.
Okay,
No, no.
so
You would take
because
the,
you have cameras,
the
you could
point
see it.
ends
Yeah.
and tap them, and the
That's right.
person whose breaks loses.
Yes. Right.
Then you turn over to the butt ends of them.
Exactly.
And you break them.
And you say Christos anesti, Christ is risen.
Elithos
When you do it, yeah.
Clearly he
But
has
it was
risen.
a competition in my house.
Right, because
Right.
whoever had the egg
that
didn't
beat
break on
everyone
either
is
side
the-
was
you have
super
to
egg.
keep it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Did your-
look at this one over here. The sister next to me. She used a red marble egg one year. It was a red marble egg, and the way she cupped it in her hands, you can only see the top. And you're so excited. To your point, Foti, everyone's
Yes,
excited.
yes.
And you're like, oh my God, Maria's killing it with all the eggs. And it's a fake egg. So she cheated. But
So
that's the thing.
did y'all keep the winning egg?
Oh, so it's funny you say that. Did your mom keep red eggs in the
Yes.
refrigerator for years and years?
No.
Not years.
No,
Like 40 days after?
No, I'm gonna out her right now. She
No.
kept it near
The
near
ikonostasis.
Yes,
Okay, that's what I'm talking
like
about.
for years.
Yes.
Ernie, do you know this phenomenon?
I know that. Well, to go back to the breaking them, my
Yes.
grandfather would always hold his so tight at the top that his egg wouldn't crack, and he would go around slam everyone's egg and be like, I win.
That's cheating.
As far as keeping them, they would be around, but I never knew why.
Yeah, and maybe Maria can explain
Well,
this to us because our
I've
mom
seen
and a lot
that
of
a lot.
moms think
Yeah.
it's like some holy thing to keep them
You're
around.
supposed to keep one red egg next to the ikonostasis that you have in your house.
Explain
which
what
is,
that is.
That is the corner of your house that faces east, and it has your icons, your holy oil, your holy water, and where you go pray and just, do your daily prayer, your evening prayer.
Yeah.
And so my mom would always keep the red egg. We must have, in the refrigerator though, she would keep them. And we have red eggs from, and I don't know why. She can't tell me why. I don't know. I'm sure somebody can Google it. But
Yeah,
it's-
hard-boiled eggs last a while, but
Not
that
to eat.
long.
Not
Still
to
ha-
eat.
Does she still have them? Do you know? She still has them?
I mean, she has the one from the previous year, I think.
Okay.
Oh,
She just rotates them out. Like just yatokalo is a phrase in Greek, like
Okay.
for the good. Like yatokalo, right?
We've been talking about wanting to talk about the food. We've been talking about a lot of it. But in front of me, and they grab a camera shot of it, we have a very specific Easter bread. Talk to me about the bread.
Well, that's a tsureki. Dimitri from Nico Nikos, kindly enough, I told him I was going to be on the show, so he was like, here, take some tsureki. So it's a braided bread that we make for Easter, and it's sweetened with masticha, which is
Or machlepi.
machlepi.
Masticha is
like a sap, a tree
it's
sap, right?
it's from Chios. A lot of masticha from Chios. It's the only place that it grows, actually, right?
It's a
Masticha.
resin. Yeah, it's a
right.
dried resin, and then you kind of grind it with the powdered sugar, and machlepi is the kernel of a sweet cherry, and it has this very
Get on that mic, Maria.
wonderful
I can't hear you very well.
this
Get on that
wonderful
mic.
aroma. that gives a really good flavor to the bread. And the bread also has like orange zest, sugar. So it looks like a challah, but it has a lot of flavor. It has the
really
orange, the machlepi, and the mastija.
It should be kind of softer, like a brioche kind of.
It is. It's very soft. Yeah.
And thank you again to Dimitri for providing that for people who just aren't bakers, because it's really hard to do that. There's a lot of preparation this week, and if you're not, you could be awesome at making theropitis or the lamb or whatever, but that's a rough one if you don't know how to bake.
This around so people can have a little of it,
and a little bit of what I used to do with this when it got a little old. You make some good French toast.
Yes, perfect.
Or bread pudding. Or bread pudding.
Yeah.
Toasted with some apricot marmalade and feta is the chef's kiss.
Is it really?
Oh my God, it's so good.
I do butter and marmalade.
Oh my God, it's so good, so good.
In case you haven't picked up on it, Greek people love to eat.
We
do make a lot of our traditions around the food and all.
So good.
As far as the religious aspect of it all and the strength of the church, and that maybe many people don't know, that the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church were united in the beginning and then had a schism, a separation for different reasons, theological issues, but that they are very close. So we, in our religions, tend to stick back to the older, more Byzantine look and feel, the way the churches look, where the Catholic Church has moved a more, I wouldn't fully say modern direction, but they've had more advances in their liturgy. What's the word I'm looking for? Liturgy. There it is. Liturgy is definitely the wrong word.
During liturgy.
And part of the reason it was always explained to me was that in the Orthodox, you have to have the council of our archbishops all have to agree on a vote.
It's not just on one person.
Right. So
like the Catholic Church has the Pope, we have 7 patriarchs.
We have 7 patriarchs. The main one, the top one, the ecumenical of Constantinople, he is the first among equals. So to get 7 of these folks to agree on anything, very little changes in our church, where other churches may have changes that happen.
I mean, I've tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's when I read about when the schism happened. That's when our Easters split.
Right.
And in the talks of the theological world, reunification has been a topic since the last Pope before he passed away. And a lot of Orthodox Christians were hoping, gosh, it would be great if we could merge again. I mean, as a mom, I'll tell you, it'd be really fun because we were all kids at one point. I have kids. They get the same questions. How come you guys don't have Easter? Do you guys not believe in Jesus? Are you not Christian? Orthodox Christianity, the word Orthodox throws people.
Right.
Because we know about our Orthodox Jewish friends.
Right.
And that's a word that people seem to be more familiar with when it comes to Judaism. So when we were kids, one of our siblings was asked if we were, oh, no, they're Jewish. No, we're not Orthodox Christian. We're not Orthodox Jewish.
Orthodoxy is But anyway, thank you both for doing that. We're going to move into our current obsessions in just a moment. You are welcome to stay and join with us and chat about your favorite current obsessions right now. I have a funny feeling it may be related to food. But folks out there, if you would like to share with us right now your current obsessions, we want to hear from you. You can call 713-440-8870. You can text them in, or you can email us, talk@hellohouston.org. We have got some business to take care of, and then we're going to continue on with the show. So keep listening to Hello Houston. It's 15 minutes. Right now, we are asking you to do something very important. That is to become a member of Houston Public Media. All you have to do is go online to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or give us a call at 888-909-0887. When you do that, you unlock the power of the strength of this station and this community, and you can also unlock $30,000 that's just sitting there waiting for us, but we need to hear from you first.
And think about it. Your gift could actually be worth that extra $30,000 for Houston Public Media. We've never seen this before. This is the biggest unlock challenge that we've ever had. You'll power the news, you'll power investigations, the arts, cultural coverage, and more with your donation. And you're also going to help us to earn that additional $30,000 that we'll use for more news stories, for more coverage, for even programs like this.
Give at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
It is a moment right now, a time right now where hearing from you matters more than ever before. We've all followed the news stories, the concerns about funding and how things are happening in this world. I want you to know this station is going to be here for you. We are strong and vibrant, but we need your continued support. And that means when we come to you a couple times a year and say, this is the moment to help us, you got to take our word for it. This is when we need your help to build our budgets, to maintain the services you are used to coming to you from Houston Public Media, and to grow what we do in our community, to have your voices amplified. Give us a call, 888-909-0887, or call us at Houston, or I should say go online at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
And remember, this is the first year without that federal funding, so this is your chance to help protect independent news as we move further into the year. Houston Public Media will not survive without your support, so it's so important that you call 888-909-0887 or donate at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
I'm Jesse Thorne. Before stand up,
it's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross-country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
Where the voices, issues, and ideas that shape our city come together. From immigration to education, from local elections to cultural conversations, this show dives deep.
And it only happens because listeners like you choose to give. Right now, during our fall campaign, we're asking for your support.
If this show matters to you, take the next step and make your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
The Arts Hour brings you the best in global arts and culture.
It resonated with me. Pure magic.
Join me, Nikki Beatty, for in-depth conversation with some of the world's most creative people.
My work is very colorful. If I could, I'd live in a world full of deep, intense, saturated color.
There's a higher power that I cannot explain when we do this music.
The Arts Hour from the BBC.
Fridays at 9 p.m. on News 88.7.
Support comes from Metro. World Cup planning includes transit improvements intended to serve Houston after the final match. Metro provides bus, rail, and paratransit service and continues mobility enhancements across the region. More at ridemetro.org/Metro Now. Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from St. Luke's Health and the St. Luke's Foundation, supporting clinical excellence, compassionate care, and a healthier future for all. More at supportstlukes.org.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's Ernie Manouse and special guest host Foti Kallergis.
It is very funny that we got through that segment, and hopefully we didn't all just talk over each other the entire time. Roula and Maria are staying with us because they're going to share their current obsessions with us as we invite you to share yours, because it's time for Current Obsessions. That's a rundown of things that are currently taking over all your free time. A current obsession, it could be a TV show you run home to continue streaming or watching, a song that you keep playing on repeat, an audiobook that makes you drive that extra mile. You got the idea. One of the big ones out there right now, before we all get into ours, The Boys. That TV series or streaming series. I never know what to call them anymore. You know,
Streaming series.
TV series seems so old.
Because you say TV series, what's the platform?
Oh, right. Yeah.
There you go. What's the platform?
Well, it's on. New season is coming to us, The Boys, and it is the final season, if you followed that show. A lot of people are obsessed with that, but what are you obsessed with right now? Call us, 713-440-8870. Share it with us. There's 4 people in the studio who seem to love to talk, so come join the conversation here. Okay, Foti, what's obsessing you right now?
There's a lot of obsessions. So I have some food obsessions. My first food obsession right now is Smoothie King's acai bowl. It's
absolutely incredible. I can't stop eating.
Oh my God.
I mean,
is a lot of protein in there?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it's like some kind of like
fruit.
health thing. You're like, yes, I get my protein and my yummy.
It's just the best thing ever.
Nice.
We actually had it in Greece. My partner Mark and I, we had it in Greece. Acai bowl in Greece. Who would have known?
Wait, there was a Smoothie King in Greece?
Englifada. No, just some place that was selling
hey, I didn't know.
acai bowls.
I made it over there.
and like we literally have been obsessed with that.
Awesome.
As far as like TV shows or streaming, documentaries are huge for me right now. So I watched The Age of Disclosure, that UFO documentary that featured Marco Rubio and a number of other like high-ranking military officials.
Okay, unofficial
That
poll
was
time here.
Incredible, yeah.
All right, who buys into UFOs? Who
I mean,
believes in them?
watch the
I
show.
do.
I believe there's
Watch
something else, but I don't like lock in on like ancient aliens under your backyard.
Oh, really?
That
Backyard?
there aren't aliens in disguise
Maria
in
has
Congress.
a story. She,
Okay,
when we were
Maria, what's your
kids.
story?
Oh, yeah.
Maria's been
We
outed
wanna
on the
hear.
air.
Yes.
You gotta tell the story, Maria, because people who are really into alien, culture would appreciate the story.
I don't know. I mean, I've never really talked about this publicly, but I don't know. This is really happening right now. When I was a kid, I was in my parents' house, obviously, and I heard some noises outside, and my parents had this bay window. So, people are going to think I'm crazy right now, just before I continue.
You could just say, I had an alien.
Oh, my God.
You got me.
Okay, so real
Okay.
quick,
What is
I
it?
looked out, y'all, and I saw like two white horses, and I saw two things with like armor, and I saw like the head, the skull, and everything, and they were staring at me, and I was scared, so I was like crouching down in the bay window, and then I was like, oh God, what is that? What is that? I didn't tell anybody about it. And then because my dad worked in the restaurant business, we always stayed up late at night to wait for Dad to come home. I was watching Johnny Carson, and Johnny Carson had this guest on, and he had just written a book called Communion. And then the cover of the book was the thing that I had seen in the backyard. No. So then I was telling them, I was like, that's the thing that I saw in the backyard. So I believe in them. I believe in them.
Wow.
I don't know why that happened. I don't know how to explain it, but
the fact that she has that much vivid memory is.
Well, the scary thing is, I can follow that story because that was Whitley Strieber who wrote that book, and it was called Communion, and he had an experience with aliens. He came on my old radio show 1,000 years ago in Chicago, and after the show, he said to me, and I'll never forget this, I think it's the funniest thing in the world because I do not believe, like you, and I probably made a big mistake there. He said, they listen to you.
Oh, God.
And I said, what? And he said, they're big fans of yours.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, because the radio waves continue out. And so they listen. So I've always thought, I may not have a big market share right here in Houston, but the aliens are listening.
They
and
love
so
you.
saying I didn't believe in them,
They're
I'm
big
just
fans.
joking.
Listen, the fact that Maria
fans.
remembers the word communion, as a child, why would that have resonated if that didn't happen?
I forget all of your names, and I
Right?
remember Whitley Strieber's name.
Yeah,
So, there's
see?
something strange
But listen,
going on
this
there.
documentary talks about
I need to
how
see it.
we actually, there is an actual spacecraft that they are trying to reverse engineer. Allegedly, right? I mean, they're trying to reverse engineer it. And there's a race between countries of who is actually going to. It's very like military. Like
What's the name of the series again?
It's called The Age of Disclosure. And then
Okay.
Steven Spielberg is coming out with a movie called the Disclosure Day.
While
Okay.
Foti
about
works
the same
on
thing,
his
so there we
tinfoil
go.
hat, we are going to read a couple others. Current obsession from my British computer guys. Catching up on the last two seasons of Survivor. They used to watch it religiously, but now they need to go back. No spoilers, please. I have watched every season, all 50 of them, and I'm watching it every Wednesday night. We get together and continue to watch it. Alex Garza says, my current obsession this week is listening to the podcast, The Telepathy Tapes, a documentary podcast investigating claims that nonverbal people with autism communicate telepathically.
Interesting.
Really cool.
Interesting.
Interesting. And we'll always be gathering up yours. Please continue to send them to us. It's easy to do. talk@hellohouston.org. We'll read more in the future, or just give us a call or leave us a text.
I've got one, but I don't
Well,
know.
you can't tell us because we're out of time.
Okay, that's fine.
You send it in to us. Oh, wait, I'm
I'll
hearing
send
in my
it in
ear
a
we have
minute.
time for
Well,
you.
just real quick, only
Okay.
because when you're on Instagram, some people just kind of like, it just kind of filters in. My older sister told us this. We have another sister. It's this match game, and it's called Vita Mahjong. Have you heard of this?
I know Mahjong, but not Vita
The Mahjong tiles
Yeah.
are the cards, and you basically, it gives you like a puzzle, and you have to match two to make them disappear, match two to make them disappear. But I refuse to pay for the app, so I have to when I get stuck, I have to watch an ad. But it's very relaxing, guys. I can't not watch it. Like I do it right before I go to sleep. And it actually helps you sleep. I really believe that. I'm like always half falling asleep just matching the mahjong tiles.
Well, I'm obsessed with refrigerated doughs. So like
Really?
crescent dough or biscuit dough and all the other things you can do with it.
Oh,
And so the
really?
newest one, take the crescent roll dough,
Yes.
don't unroll it, take it out of the tube,
Yes. Okay.
and just bake it as it is. And it will make a loaf of fluffy, airy bread.
You can add your spinach feta mixture
There you
on
go.
there, and you can make a really good spanakopita with it.
There we go. You have heard it here
The
first.
chef
Anyway,
said it best.
ladies, thank you very
Thanks for
much.
having us.
Roula and Maria
Thanks,
Christie
everyone.
here to celebrate with us. Foti, thank you for
Thanks,
joining
Ernie.
and sitting in today with
Appreciate
me
it.
here
It was
on
a
the
lot of
show.
fun.
And thank all of
Kali
you.
Anastasi. Kali Anastasi.
Thank you. And all of you out there listening and joining and participating, you are always appreciated. We'll be back again tomorrow with another full 2 hours of Hello Houston. I hope you'll join us.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menjivar, Jen Altide, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Your support for Houston Public Media powers the programs you trust and rely on. And your employer may help your contribution go even further. Many employers sponsor matching